Bring it back. Match 3 about to begin. It's going to be Order taking on Peace, looking to play spoiler again. Order, they've been doing a decent job still trying to find that consistency leading up to the playoffs. Peace as well, you could say a similar thing, but of course with a lot more success and a lot more firepower throughout the groups here. So, I guess, look, before we chat about this one, I heard from a bird that flew into my room, you know, lots of feathers, lots of, I think it was cockatoo, it spoke, and it said, we had a banger tweet that came out from Pentanet after the previous match. So if we want to bring that one up, we can have a chat about it, but we won't do it just yet because I'm going to get you guys to try to guess what it is. So, Jubes, did you get to browse Twitter during the break?
Yeah, I think I saw it because I actually said to myself, that's a banger. So I don't know if you want me to spoil it or
no. We'll keep it a secret just in case there's viewers out there that haven't seen it yet. What about you, Skimmy? Did you see it as well?
No, I was too busy enjoying the copy paste and chat about how Safa was just smurfing and, you know, playing around the pool as well. So I don't know. Maybe he's just saying enough of the tanks. It's time for me to take off the weights and get it done as a carry.
Oh, apparently we don't have it anymore. So if you guys want to see it though, you know, jump on Twitter. You can have a quick look. So all it was is Pentanet. They were so successful this season, they didn't actually prepare a graphic for a loss, so they just did a normal tweet without a picture.
That's what I thought. That was hilarious.
It was pretty funny. But look, okay, speaking of funny, this matchup not gonna be. It's gonna be serious business, Order and Peace. Let's talk Order first. So they've been doing pretty well leading up to this. You know, finally got another win yesterday, locking it down against the teams that they need to and trying really hard not to get too upset. And of course, I personally believe that this is the best looking visually lineup. Not sure why, probably the merchandise, but that can be a conversation for another time because, you know, Skimmy, you want to take me through Maximus's jawline and why it looks so damn sharp there?
I mean, we've seen what his Twitter profile looks like at times, right? When he wants to go down the avenue of getting his pose on, he definitely knows how to attract the sponsors of Calvin Klein and so on, right? So definitely apparel coming through the doors right now. But in terms of the game last time when he went up against Peace, he was playing the GP, I believe, looking at really trying to hard carry and show up in a moment against a team that loves to fight and punch on. And, you know, GP really strong in moments like that. But in terms of recent performances, they've definitely shown us that they have the cohesion to, you know, come together and understand that their game plan is to pop off like such. This game for me, when me and Jubes got to run it back on Wednesday, was so exciting because it really looked like it was going either way with a few interesting picks. But for me, it was the stand-up performance from Beats. You know, consistently being in the right place at the right time, and more than anything, landing the skill shots to ensure that they would always be the one on the front foot.
Yeah, 100%, and it was also a statement game, Skimmy. Like we want to see Order really just put their foot down on these bottom of the table teams, if you will. Yeah. And they were a team, like you said, that struggled a little bit with consistency. So very nice to just see them play that well.
Yeah, now let's have a look at the other side of Summoner's Rift for this matchup. That, of course, is going to be Peace. You know them, you love them, and you damn love to look at them and watch them play as well. You got Appy, Lisa, Halo, Violet, and Aladoric there, who I damn hope we get an interview from the man because we've been asking all season, Jubes.
Yeah, like he's not a camera shy guy. He's got a lot to say, so I just want to hear his opinions. So if he is listening, don't be shy. We're all friendly. We're all friends. We'll get you on, mate. We'll look after you. That's for sure.
We just want to know what the bloody recipe for success is, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Nat flame anyone in an interview, so I'd for sure bring him on. Anyway, what I was saying about Peace is interesting. They've gone with Lisa again. I think Kevy's been quite good for them. You know, I think they've lost one game with him, but they've won the rest, and he's been quite good. So Peace are a team that we probably haven't even seen the full potential of yet because they've got the diversity in the jungle to be able to swap out as they please, as the game suits, as their draft permits. So they're a team that's really ramping up again. Had a bit of a hiccup, but looking very sharp now.
Looking sharp indeed. And look, it's going to take a little bit more than that for Order as well to, you know, you can't just look the part, you have to act the part. And going up against Peace, you really cannot be on the back foot at all, or Peace is just going to run away with it. You know, Violet, he's had such a success this season the whole damn time. Just even when it looks like he's on the back foot, he's always like 100 CS up over whoever the hell he's versing. So this man, farmer extraordinaire. And speaking of farmers, Nat, are you down in the fields at the moment? Could I hear a moo?
I am. I'm down here with Maximize and Aladoric. That is right. The man has joined us for another interview on the LCO broadcast. Aladoric, especially you, man. Thank you so much for joining me, Maximize, as well. I'll actually start with you, Max. You know, this is our last game for the regular season. So what are the goals and hopes for Order coming into this match?
I think the main goal is that we can all have a night off tomorrow and we don't have to play a tiebreaker. We didn't sort of know that there were tiebreakers coming into today, so it was a bit of a shock. And we're like, oh crap, there's actually suddenly a lot of pressure on this game. So from our end, it's more just taking the win so we secure fourth without the chance of losing. I mean, like, we're super confident playing versus Chiefs. They haven't looked really good at all in the last like 6 weeks. So we're pretty confident versus them. It's just like, we'd rather not have any risks.
I think that is definitely something I'd be aiming for too if I was in your spot. But Aladoric, completely different story for you guys. You know that you are sitting quite pretty up there, at least going to always be in the top 3. So what's the mood over at Peace and how are you guys preparing for this matchup?
It's pretty good. We're just looking to win this game because then we secure second. But if we lose, we have to play a tiebreaker tomorrow as well, which is not ideal. But I think we'll still win anyway, even if we got to the tiebreaker tomorrow.
Who do you think is going to be the biggest threat to your game plan from Order?
I think their top jungle is like their strongest point on their team. So I'd say probably their top jungle. If they get ahead, they can run away the game, probably.
Thanks, man.
I'm sure you're very glad to hear that one, Maximize. But the last time you guys faced up against Peace, you unfortunately did come away with a loss. So I want to ask, what have you guys learned and what are you going to be improving on coming into this one?
Honestly, I think the main thing that we learned is to not like have GP walk into a bush unwatered into Rakan Ornn. That's sort of through the game. Until that point, like we were ahead, or like the game was in a very winnable position, and then I just sort of like ran it down effectively. So I think in terms of drafting, nothing's changed too much. It's just like better execution that we're hoping for today.
I'm looking forward to it. The last question that I am going to ask you guys, I've been asking everyone today, is there a game or a moment from the regular season that has stood out to you as like your favorite game or moment? If you want to go first, Max.
I think our first game versus Direwolves, where we like just absolutely rolled them, was a really good game. I think we've had like flashes of what we can play like, and that was certainly the first game where we like everyone came away, we were like, there's nothing much to review really, we just like rolled them. So that for me was like probably my favorite game of the split to play.
And Aladoric, what about for you?
Yeah, I think ours would also be versus Direwolves, like our first game, because that game was like super close and intense. And then it was just like one team fight that won us the game. It felt really good to win that game.
Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to talk to me. Good luck in the game. I'm excited to see who's going to have to play the tiebreaker tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you go. So finally got to hear from the man, the legend, the brains of Peace, and then the sharp as nails, sharp as usual Max there as well. So it sounded like coming out of the Order camp, Max and co are going to be doing something very similar, but just trying to execute much better than what they did previously. So, you know, Jubes, do you think that that is a good strategy, or do you think maybe, you know, changing it up a little bit more would be the answer?
Well, sometimes I listen to Maximize interviews and I have more questions than answers. Just from a like pure analytical, like, what are you doing when you're not scrimming, and when you win or lose, what are you doing? Because he said like it was a stop. They don't VOD review it. Like they're happy with that performance, but you can always learn something. So I think it's like a lot of it's a cheeky Maximize that we know and love. But no, I'm excited to see what Order shows up, right? Max has shown his proficiency on quite a few champions, and Aladoric, yeah, Aladoric is one who pays respect when respect's due. So when you get a compliment from Aladoric, it means a lot. And so I think it's exciting to see what happens in this top side of the map.
Well, yeah, let's see how it goes, and let's see where our predictions are leading as well. I heard that the game is actually speeding up as we speak, so let's just rush through it. Yes! He's done it! He's gone for gold! Yes! Oh, I knew it! I knew it! Oh, yes! Praise the powers that be. Praise Riot.
Mac
Thank
is
you
just
all.
so good. He scored more than there have been games.
I've never won anything in
He's
my
been
life.
casting other regions now.
This is the greatest thing ever. I'm so perfect. I actually am the GOAT. Now, look, I don't think we need to stay on this too much longer. Ladies and gentlemen, the game. It's coming up in a sec. Order and Peace. Can Peace get another W? Can they get it done? Can Order cause the upset and then solidify a slightly higher position on the leaderboard? That's all the questions that are about to be answered as we do jump into Champ Select.
Do we bring in Nat for the super sub analogy as it's our two faces on the screen? Maybe we're the ones giving her the interview dues. I'm not too sure if that's how we want to do it. Or maybe we do. Are you still with us, Nat?
No, I mean, from more reports, Nat was going to talk about tiebreakers. I don't know.
That was going to be my point, right?
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, it's an interesting game either way, right? You know, if Peace win, then it forces Order to have that tiebreaker. If Order win, then it forces Peace to take on Direwolves, right? So you've got situations playing out for second and fourth, and that could be kind of spicy.
And so what's spicy so far is the bans coming on through. Well, they're not really spicy. They're actually what we see almost every game now. Thresh being taken away, Hecarim not going over towards Lisa, which I think is silly if you let him have that one. And Tristana seems to be a staple ban over towards Violet. So that one being taken away as well, potentially Halo playing that one. So that's all gone. And good to see the respect Camille ban. Some teams let Maximize have Camille, and I leave myself wondering why. It's like, do you want this guy to have his best champion every time? Probably not. So that one taken away. Seraphine as well, and the Lilia. Lilia, again, probably, I would say, Vengeance's best performing champion. So good to see that one taken away as well. So I think pretty respectful draft so far.
Sonny is respectful. We've noted he's played a couple of games of the Skarner 2, and now he's going to make that one a third here with a very early pickup on that champion. Seems a bit Order-esque, right? We've had the Skarner, we've had the Malzahar, these champions that force you to go for the QSS and try and disrupt your itemization, guarantee that at least a bit of that economy has to go towards something defensive to try and bridge the gap. As for Peace, though, they're going to lock themselves in the Xayah, give the Xayah Rakan Wombo combo to Peace. That just means they have such a strong bot lane already.
But drafting Skarner this early, you run into a few problems. And it's that, well, firstly, it's not the best jungle matchup, right? Like, it's not bad. Like, you're not going to get run over or anything like that, but you really want to, like, the Skarner has far more value into squishier things where you can, like, you flash, you impale, and you drag them back. Then you give the option to Violet, right? Like, Violet probably wants to play Kai'Sa here, but as soon as you take Skarner, he opts in for the Xayah because, again, if you opt in for Flash Impale, there's like a buffer, like a slight buffer where you're able to get Feather Storm off, as well as the Feather Rip back, and then all of a sudden, Skarner's in no man's land probably goes down. So the earlier you pick this champion, the more options you give Peace, in the sense that they don't need to pay the QSS tax. Sure, it's still going to be a good thing to pick up, but you run the risk of like letting them pick champions that far much better into the Skarner. Now, Vayne is an interesting one because that's kind of what Puma's made his name on this split. Like, he's had a few good performances on that champion. Yeah. Vayne into Xayah Rakan lanes can be tricky. Xayah Rakan, very big kill lane. The thing that cancels that out is that Rakan struggles into Alistar. So it's like a weird dynamic how Xayah Rakan, hard for Vayne. Pair that with the Alistar. Alistar does counter the Rakan in lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two, pilot that dynamic. My money would still be on, the Xayah Rakan to being able to just brute force that one because you get that attack speed steroid, and we know what Xayah and Rakan can do in the 2v2.
Yeah, we know that they like to get aggressive in the laning phase as well, and Puma's not being one to shy away from opportunities like that too. So if they find themselves in a really good spot where the wave is pushed up, they can definitely hit a condemn and guarantee themselves a lane state that is desirable. Might not be as easy, however, for the Alistar just to go wandering roaming, but we'll have to wait and see how this draft continues. There's 2 bans went towards Maximize, making sure that his champion pool was going to be really limited. Actually 3 if you count the first rotation as well, whereas Order have made sure that Halo is going to have the complete pick of the litter when it comes to those control majors. So Orianna denied away, Renekton locked in here. Worth noting that also Appy has played 10 unique champions, loves to just say, I can play pretty much anything at a high level.
Yeah, but Skimmy, the interesting thing here is that they've opted in for a similar composition to that of Pentanet versus Gravitas, right? And we saw the Vayne have a field day. So, did he? He did. Okay, he did lock in Zilean instead. Now, not sure how I feel about that. In terms of the mid matchup in the 1v1, sure, whatever. Like, you might fall down in CS. you know, Changi is going to get a little bit of a lead, or should, in terms of isolation, in terms of the 1v1. However, you know, it is really only Chovy and Showmaker that make that champion work. So maybe Halo is the Oceanic Chovy Showmaker equivalent. Maybe you can make that one work. But you really do just lose a lot of damage. And especially if your top side and your jungle don't get ahead, then you really just got all your eggs in the Violet basket. So it does become quite like volatile. Maybe in a different draft, like when you see Zilean, it's often paired with the Hecarim, because Hecarim does do more damage than the Udyr.
Sure.
And also like Udyr, even though you give them the Zilean speed, can still be kept out. It takes a headbutt, it's a headbutt, and then Zilean's gone. Whereas the onslaught of shadows from the Hecarim can't be denied. So you're going to end up in the backline with the move speed and the damage amplification. Now, Udyr doesn't have any of these accessories that the Hecarim has. So I think like that's a key component that's missing when it comes to Peace's draft. But I understand why they drafted it, but possibly not the best pick in this situation. Whereas you look at the order composition, far more front to back, bigger damage spread, less eggs in one basket, and probably in general just easier to execute. So, you know, nice to see from Peace if you want to talk about diversifying their draft and what's available to them come playoff time. Like if you can execute on the Zilean, you have a whole different composition that you're afraid of when you come up against them. But you know, not sure I'm sold on it.
Because, I mean, I know what you're getting at, right? You know, first time we've seen Zilean here, we know that there are some players that are quite proficient on it, but you start to question, you know, how far down the ladder does it go in terms of, you know, what do you sacrifice to play it instead, right? I guarantee they're looking and saying, well, we can just take this, you know, forget about having to necessarily go for the QSS. Sure, it's going to obviously still be a great item, but, you know, we're not so reliant now on those Featherstorm or Flash timings. We've got that third safety net to play around to give us that option. But yeah, as you say, Order definitely have a clear-cut composition, right? Your solid carries between mid lane and bot, the front line to start things off with, and the sustain to provide them with that platform to get that job done. But as for Peace, we know they like to take chances. We know they like to be aggressive. We've seen situations where Violet has literally been the one in the driving seat that can hold the balance of power and do wonders with it. So I'm excited to see what this final Week 5 form looks like.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you had to put your eggs in a basket, Violet's definitely not a bad player to have holding the basket. Yeah. So, you know, all the power to them, confident in the man's ability to carry. But I just feel if Peace aren't able to pick up some early leads in the side lanes, whether that be top side or bot side, if it comes to a neutral 5v5 or someone as well as available, you'd have to be leading to the side of Order.
Well, we'll get to see what it looks like as we jump into this game. And as we do, we got another coach interview as we welcome back the coach of Peace in Midlord. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, first of all, congratulations on making it through to playoffs. You've got yourself sitting in second spot right now. It's a bit of an important match because we know there can be a tiebreaker for either team. How do you view that tiebreaker? Do you think it's an advantage to have another game's practice, or do you think it's maybe a disadvantage because of this crammed schedule?
Because most of our teammates has planned for tomorrow, so they don't want to play the game tomorrow. So they want to win today. They have a good advantage to win today's game.
Yeah, then talk to me, right? You know, in terms of this game itself, you know, we've got ourselves the Zilean. Myself and Jubes were quite excited to see that one come out here. Was that a direct response to the Skarner more than anything, or was it a case of, you know, we'll play something different, we'll keep our opponents guessing as to what preparation we have as a team?
Yeah, because Zilean can just speed up our teammates, and Halo is very confident of this champion. He thinks he can beat Orianna in the line.
Champion. Yeah, and then, you know, talk to me then as a result, right? As a season for a whole, you know, you find yourself currently in second spot. You've only dropped games to Direwolves and Pentanet. Have you been happy with how the split's gone?
It's hard to say because we didn't prepare for this lose. You know, we hope we can win all the games, but maybe a little bit hard for us. But still good, I think.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a bit of a, how do I say, like there's a skill gap or potentially like different brackets of, you know, it was clearly that Pentanet were at the top. We've seen them now fall down to Gravitas. We've seen Order and Chiefs hang around the middle. Do you think there are major gaps between the teams, or do you think coming into playoffs it's a lot closer?
I think become playoffs, this will be more closer, and we will be better than the season 1, Split 1.
I'm excited to see Excited to see how that one plays out. Final thing from me, the floor is yours. If there's anything you want to say to all your fans or potential fans watching at home, feel free to sing out to them.
Just wait for our winning. We will win the game.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to see what that looks like today. Thank you so much, Midlord, as we get ourselves into this one. And Jubes, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I realized you were in the interview, and then my natural reflex was to say something in that situation. Excuse me, man. I feel like every time I'm on a cast with you, I don't understand how in this time and age we can be losing bot lanes at level 1. Like, if you draft Vayne Alistar, you know, and hold that thought because Beats has no flash.
He's just in trouble. Yeah, no flash. No agency being there, can't step up, gets flashed upon, gets locked in place. They turn their attention away into a second target and zone away Puma, but Puma actually hits back hard and takes Lisa down low, but we've seen it, what, maybe 3 times now? Level 1 Alice has blown their flash?
Yeah, Lisa's absolutely just 1v9ing this game, but you just think about it from like a perspective of what do Vayne and Alistar need, right? They, like, to pilot, thought Puma might go down there. To pilot Alistar, you need Headbutt Pulverize. Like, they're the main 2 abilities. So if you don't have that, why are you trying to alpha for level 1? Like, you just have to give lane and wait till level 3, and then at level 2, 3, you start to play your matchup. But we're just seeing games be won and lost at level 1, level 2, and Happy might be dead here, though.
Yeah, he's gone face checking into the brush, forced to flash away, Slice and Dice comes in clutch, and that's all he'll lose. Just to summon him. More aggression both sides. Aladoric continues to show up here. The Feather recall's huge. Summoner heal burnt. Now Puma finds himself in trouble. Can he actually try and turn things around here in a 1v2? Doesn't actually have any vision anymore, but that's not going to deter him. One final Silver Bolt may have been enough. Would have been very close regardless, but he realizes that tanking up that minion wave, and even still in a 1v2, maybe a little bit too early to try and pop off like that.
So he actually, yeah, the Featherstorm was a good one, but he actually missed his headbutt pulve again. So he actually headbutted and then didn't pulve. And then because he's not running the Aftershock, he isn't able to get the phase rush. So like if he's running Aftershock there, maybe he lives because the headbutt is enough to, if you're going to miss combo, the headbutt is enough to at least give you that survivability to at least walk away. But in that scenario, if you headbutt the person away, don't land the combo, you don't have a rune, right? Like in that sense, you aren't able to land 3 abilities or auto attack in between. There's just nothing for you. You're basically playing a champ without a keystone. And it's just a disaster, Skimmy. Like we were talking about, the main point I wanted to touch on before all of this drama was Chang'e had to go bot side to bail his bot lane out. It wasn't the fact that they laned poorly and, hey, they got to deal with it. They in a sense, ruined mid lane too, because Chang'e TP'd, had to walk back to mid, then fail flash is on his own, you know, that's his own problem, his own fault. But now he's in a hole that was all stems from the lack of respect level 1 into a Zyra Rakan.
And the aftermath is huge, right? Because you're now saying that's 2 lanes that find themselves in a situation where it's not looking to flash right now. You've lost complete control of the bottom side of the river. Peace running rampant. They're going to find themselves the first Drake. And you know, 3 kills so early on, and 2 of them being on Violet more than anything. We talked about how this game could be so much on his shoulders, and that's a really good start for him.
Why? I'm not sure why they did that. Why? Did Halo want the gold? Like, because did you see that? They did the dragon, pulled the dragon out to Halo, he dropped the double bomb, and they just waited. Like, that was a really weird
must be close to
interaction.
an item break point. That's all I can imagine, right? If he's desperate for that gold.
Yeah,
Is he that concerned that he needs to find a lead in this mid lane? We'll hold that thought for a second. As Lisa, well, he's just so far ahead right now, isn't he? You know, he's already got those boots completed, a level advantage, soon to hit 6. He'll get 6 from this. That alone just continues to zone away all agency that Order might have.
Yeah, he's like pretty much a level up on the Skarner now, and that's just purely based off the EXP he's got off the kills. Oh, no, not a level up. I retract that statement. But, yeah, okay, he's not a level up, but he can be, and we might see a dive here, so I'll hold that thought.
Well, the wave has crashed, and big rotation coming out here through from Halo 2. He's got the revival if need be, so this turret dive can definitely go in their favor. 2 turret shots, 3 shot. Oh, went to Lisa. Down to 50%.
Shockwave.
The Impaler's there from Vengeance, so they can just find an angle. A nice shockwave. 1 flashes out, and 1 connects. Lisa low. The combo comes out delayed. It is a headbutt into delayed pulverize, but it doesn't change the outcome, because it does mean it is Vayne that picks up the kill onto Rakan.
But that's the second combo in a row that beats has messed up. Now, I don't know what's going on, but maybe a bit of nerves. Maybe he needs to just recover, regain his thoughts, and start to play the Alistar, because we know he can do it. He's been very good the last couple of weeks. It's just this game in particular, a little bit of struggle street. But good pick up there from Order. They definitely needed that one. And they definitely got some more summoners out too, so Violet has no sums. Skarner, you know, Impale is going to be up shortly, so potentially he's going to look for that shutdown in bot side of the map.
You talk about nerves. Do you think there's a valid argument to be made, given that this game does have a tiebreaker for either side to have to play out as a result? You know, if you've been in a situation which you have, right, with your background, do you prefer or do you enjoy the fact that you'll get another game before those playoffs comes around, or are you looking to say we want more time to prep, we want to try and hide as much as we can?
More games is the best, right? Like as a pro player, you just want to play more games. It doesn't matter if you're playing for what you're playing for. As long as there's games available, you want to play them. Obviously, if you can take first place and you just get an entry into the grand final, you'll take that, no doubt. But if the games are offered to you, you'll take them, right? And so in this scenario, I don't necessarily think it's nerves of any placing. It's that as a professional player, like you will be nervous before a game. Like you will have that excitement. Maybe excitement is the word, where you want to perform, where you want to show off, you want to beat the person, your counterpart. Like you always have that like intrinsic ego, that ego of no matter what the game is, you want to beat your opponent. And whether that's someone maybe you have a bit of banter with, or someone that maybe you're not getting along with in solo queue, games mean more based off of that, and maybe that's what's getting to them.
What it is meaning, Juves, is that you're finding some sizable CS leads, all going back to that level 1. We're 10 minutes in here, but our leads for Halo as well as Violet, so mid and bot lane definitely finding favor. You can see that the rotations that do come across, definitely being punished by Chung as he's able to chunk out a quarter, but at least that has full agency on the map to say, well, these crabs on respawn, they belong to us. Map vision belongs to us, and it's going to be very hard for Vengeance to poke his head in bot side.
Yeah. And look at the bot side control though, right? Like, how do you do anything here? Unless it's just through lane. Which he may opt in for, but no, he's clearing back to top side. But even the danger ping, like they just know where he is. That's basically on top of his head. So if you're a Skarner, like what are you doing in this game now? You know, you pretty much got nothing to do for the next 30 seconds to a minute, because you can go top side, but I really don't think you have enough damage to kill this Renekton now, especially with Dominus and Flash.
And he knows. He's almost like taunting his opposition to go for it. And that's going to force out Hela to flash away as he maybe gets a little bit too big for his shoes and goes roaming into the jungle to try and clear out some of his vision and continue to be in their favor. But, you know, as you say, topside, Appy is having an absolute field day, playing so pushed up, playing so aggressive, gone for the coal. Knows that, hey, if you do come my side, maybe I can look at a 1v2. So really trying to take Vengeance out of the equation and make it a 4v5.
Yeah, and then even if you, like, let's say best case scenario, you commit the resources to Appy, you get the Renekton a little lead. You get the Scion a little lead into the Renekton. Like, in the context of the game, it doesn't mean much, right? The Zaya's just winning harder on the bot side of the map, has picked up turret plates, is going to get first turret gold, and they're going to pick up a second dragon. So no matter what you do with this next Impale, it's not more than what's happening in the bot side of the map, and that's what's scary.
Well, it's just so clean. In terms of what we're seeing here, right? The Herald is summoned perfectly to guarantee that one. Hold that for a second. Flash, Impale, into the knock-up. There's the Dominus. Yeah. As you say, Juve, just slice and dice away. Holds the flash.
There's just not enough damage. That's just the reality of the situation. When you play things like the Scion, you play it for weak side, and even still, this might not be enough.
Flash poled. Yeah. He'll burn the flash as well. More resources burnt topside. Appy having the best time of his life. He doesn't care. It's just free vision and, well, information really more than anything, right, Juice? For the rest of his team to say, we'll do whatever we want. I mean, this is Violet, who's up by 20 CS. Guaranteed all those plates. The Herald takes it down. Halo can rotate through and donate another level across to one of his teammates. And no surprises that he's already got that Kraken Slayer then.
And it's the reason it's not even that bad is because Appy's opted in for a more defensive build, right? Like, we see Renektons not traditionally into Scions, but just to play like Devil's Advocate. You know, if he's gone Prowler's Claw, then this play works, right? Or then this play has more value because lethality, like, needs to get ahead, needs to snowball. It's going to be squishier and, you know, all that good stuff. However, even if he falls behind, just through build path, he's going to play a role in a team fight. Won't be the same role as the Scion, but it'll be a role nonetheless. So, I mean, you got to give Order props for looking for something, but that something needs to be bot side of the map. That needs to be onto the Vayne or onto the Orianna.
We talked about how clear-cut their composition was, but they do need resources more than anything, right? There is still the hope that Vayne has got himself a nice early little kill before the 15-minute mark. The gold lead isn't completely out of discussion so early on, so there's definitely no situation here where we're writing them off. But this is really the proof of the pudding. You know, you're looking at a situation now up by at least 1,700 gold in the AD carry department. That just stems from just so much control from the very get-go.
And little all in here. No damage follow-up. It just feels... People are making plays and they're not going to net anything, right? Like, that's the... Normally, it's worth, right? But no flash was burnt. Rakan ultimate is a huge cooldown. You know, arguably one of the biggest cooldowns in the game, probably aside from the Zillion ulti. And that's on cooldown. And you have the Herald spawning. It's something that you want to contest. And now you're doing it without an ultimate, so it just feels a little bit reckless, I guess. Maybe they thought they could get the kill there, but it is also just a tank Udyr and a Rakan. So they'll have to wait for Aladoric's cooldowns to come back up before they opt in for the next fight.
Worth noting though, Juves, similar cooldown to that of the Shockwave that Chungy had to burn to at least prevent any follow-up chase. So both will be without that, so we might not see a Herald start on spawn. It might be a little bit more delayed, as you already mentioned, but you know, they've just shifted the vision. The goalposts have gone from top to bot and so on. You know, Renekton's put himself down there. Appy has that TP if need be. He's zoned away Maximized, who is looking to pick up scraps in the jungle, and having your bot side top just ensures that you can deploy to that Herald first.
And we also talk about this game not being over if you're and look, imagine if you had Rakan ulti here. Oh, potentially gets the sums out of Puma. Puma trading back very well though, and he's down like a complete item and some, right? Like he's down a full Kraken Slayer, but trades back, so gotta be happy with that one. Game by no means is over. It's just when you have a Zillion that gets a free lane, has a 30 CS lead, a Xayah with a free lane has a 30 CS lead, you start to get worried for the next skirmish, because that's where we start to see how the trajectory of this game's going to go. If Order are able to take one and take an objective, we start talking, okay, different ball game. Maybe we're in for a long one. However, you know, when you have 30 CS leads, 4K lead naturally, the next team fight really does just balloon out into a 6K gold lead, right? You know, in that sense. So,
yeah,
dangerous territory.
It'll be interesting to see what game plan is here for Order, right? With the next Dragon spawning in just under a minute, they've just picked up their Herald. They can go back to base, get themselves those items all completed, and then no doubt continue this trajectory of, you know, we're here first, we're going to go for that, you're not going to contest us. Be interesting to see if Order decide that, you know, there is enough power in the tank so far to even look at that, or if they will buy themselves another 5 minutes and say, we'll wait for Soul Point before we decide to do anything drastic.
I didn't get to take full stock of it, but I do believe Vayne still doesn't have the Kraken Slayer unless it was purchased, you know, on the edge of leaving base. Yeah. So, I mean, if you just take itemization stock, what you're hoping for here is that, yeah, look at the diff. That's a diffy in the A. You can't even do that saying. Can't even do that saying with AD.
Know.
Yeah.
It's a jungle thing only, isn't it?
Yeah. You can do top diff. No, you can't actually, can you?
You can't, no.
Yeah,
Dipping the Jiffy.
Yeah.
But nowhere else.
Nope. Well, what I was saying was you're hoping Scion bridges that gap. You're hoping Scion's at a point where he's able to just sustain past the Xayah damage.
Yeah.
But time will tell. See what Puma can do in this next team fight. Obviously, if Violet gets shut down, that's all of their gold, all of their damage. So we'll keep that one in mind here. It is going to be a 5v5. Vayne is on the flank. This is not the team fight that they want. This is not the angle they want from Puma. This is really bad for Order.
Are they looking for a pick right now? They're trying to bait out cooldowns. Let's get to see right there. Aladoric, a two-man charm, locks them all in place. Forget the Dragon, the team fight is what we're after. So 1-for-1 so far. Vayne has already gone, and that spells disaster here for Order. They had no items, they had no agency being there, but they decided to take the fight regardless. The Dragon will get leashed, but the Revival is clutch here, as that brings back Halo to the fold of things and ensures that this is a fight that they will win convincingly. Now playing for Soul Points, an Ocean Soul to add insult to injury. And will they decide to chase on for more?
It's a really close team fight from the side of Order for how poor they were positioned in that scenario. Keep in mind, Vayne didn't have Kraken Slayer.
Yeah.
Vayne, and Vayne is just on a flank. Like, it is a little bit baffling that you draft triple frontline, Vayne Orianna comp, and your Vayne's on a flank, right? Like, when you say it out loud, it doesn't make sense. But that was the situation they were forced into through Puma needing to pick up farm, and also good wave manipulation from Peace, right? They were able to get their waves deep enough that it created a problem for Order that they needed to address. And then when you set up for the Dragon, they didn't have the luxury to get everyone on the same side of the map. Maybe a wrong deployment from base. However, it was punished nonetheless.
Certainly was punished, and it continues to be punished as these gold leads only continue to get bigger. From laning phase to where we're at now, the story has not really changed from bot lane and mid lane especially, that retain those huge gold leads. And this is something that you were concerned about, right? From the Herald to that Dragon, what it would mean,
Yeah.
you know, 2K, soon to be 4K and so on. That's what we're looking at now. Has got to that magical 4K mark. With Baron available in another minute, we've seen how teams that are in the driving seat can look to try and force those 50-50 dances and bait you in for that team fight and say, are we bluffing? You have to wait and see.
And you... Sorry, excuse me.
We wonder what will happen, right? Will Peace, you know, hit them with that dilemma?
Yeah, and you can't even take into account, like, because you touched on gold lead, you can't even take into account the soul point. Like, what's the value of that? You know, not even just in terms of stats that the Dragons offer you, but the pressure it generates. Because now you know, like, Order's fighting the next one regardless of gold lead, gold deficit. So if you wanted to force a fight, well, in 4 minutes or so, you get that. And it just created through the disaster, really, that we saw bot side of the map for, you know, pretty much the duration of the game. They were never able to contest, and Puma might be caught here too.
Oh, it's a flash. Nice ultimate there, goes invisible. That actually is all it takes to ensure that he does not fall victim to that fight. It would have been down 10 seconds before Baron spawns. Does actually get dropped down to 50% as the trade comes to an end, but good ult tumble.
Yeah, but we might have seen a trade kill onto Aladoric, but Beats missed his combo again. He headbutted and didn't get the pole off. So, okay.
Yeah, the Storm's been baited out. They'll switch their attention onto Renekton instead. And that's actually going to have Appy punched into Narnia. Hits the empowered Q. There's just not enough lifesteal, even onto 4 members. It's huge. Here comes Halo. He still has the revival. There is no Featherstorm, bear in mind. So members are squishy. They're going to leave Lisa, sacrifice him. Shockwave onto Halo. Exhausted after the ultimate is committed. Peace looking challenged for the first time this game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just their comp, right? This is dangerous. I'm not even going to begin to digest what happened there because there's going to be a contest. And double zillion bombs stacked in a Baron pit, dangerous.
Beats. Hugest flank right now. Headbutts in Halo, instantly ults himself, but he's going to respawn amongst 5 members surrounding him. He tries to dash out, but he's going to fall on down all the same. Skarner's dead. All that have no smite. Chuggy's going to die to the Baron. Oh no, the poison spit, it's just too strong. Beats with the 3-man knockup. Can he salvage this fight? Can they make it a win for them? The charm goes out, but Aladoric falls on down. And it's that man again, Violet, gets the double kill, hunting and praying for the triple kill, but the shutdown is there, and it is so damn messy.
I think they did just enough to deny the Baron. The kill on Violet there is crucial for the game state. I mean, if you're an Order fan, in terms of scaling, in terms of the champions that you have to be happy with that, right? How that's played out. You know, your next fight, you're able to contest with Summoner spell advantage. Now, I can't stress this enough. We talk about gold deficits. Again, there's no value in Summoner spells, right? You can't come to a quantitative value in which say, yeah, the flash is worth this, the flash is worth that. I'll hold this thought while we watch the replay. Again, Beats had a bit of a rough game, but that's huge, right? Pretty much saves this play for them. Halo is lucky enough to get that ultimate off, and Violet is untouched. Again, it's just outplay after outplay. Watch Violet, micro-maxing to the max here, able to space out, consistently weaving in auto attacks, but here, perfect gameplay here from Beats and Maximize. If you're being critical, they stack the CC. Puma gets the kill there. Violet's just too strong. Different universe, maybe the Vayne's able to survive, but auto-attacking Maximize was actually Violet's demise there because he has the Thornmail, and that's actually what killed him. Now, what I wanted to talk about, you take stock of Summoner spells. Violet, no flash, no QSS. Halo has flash, but the rest of the members, Udyr, no flash. So in terms of importance, in terms of key Summoner spells, on the side of Order for sure.
Yeah, Puma has that flash. Beats has it as well.
Watch
Look at their
Aladoric.
positioning. They're all grouped as 5. Aladoric and Violet on the flank. They've been spotted out though, but that vision ward will cancel it. Oh, the control ward rather. This is Soul Point. This is where we thought maybe Order would make their move. Vengeance has flash. Could be clever here and flash across the Tri-Brush. Many have failed the wards. Hopefully he doesn't fail the flash, but he's going to decide against that. Going to look to try and play it more standard instead here, Juves, and you can see them teasing one another. One stun, one CC. Spells lights out.
Hey, the Dominus was popped. This is winnable for Order. Renekton, no ultimate. I would love for Vengeance, at this point, just pull the trigger on Lisa. Use the Skarner. Oh, flash combo.
There it is. Well, flash combo, and Shockwave hits nothing. That's huge. Okay, well, what can Peace do as a result right now? The Charm goes out, locks in place 2. Maximize and Vengeance on the retreat.
Oh, Order!
Shockwave, it feels so ruined, but they're going to turn things around regardless. The cycling of the Orb Command attacks, and Chungy finds what he needs to do in the end. Salvages fight and allows them to take down a double kill. It's going to be Puma that picks it up, and that might be enough here to try and steal away that Dragon as a result. Halo's just flashed into the pit. Question marks over that one, but Order won't mind, and they'll delay this Ocean Soul just a little bit longer.
That's one of those flashes where I won't ask for a replay, but what a team fight coming out of Order. And look how clinical that team fight was with the cooldown of a Shockwave being completely whiffed. And in all honesty, Skarner Impale didn't do much, right? All it did was keep Xayah in place. Xayah didn't die from it, but Chungy had some good team fight positioning. I mean, hit an MVP, and Puma, considering how the lane played out, and again, I didn't blame him for the lane, but considering how the lane played out, is having an absolute blinder. And Order have the Baron. They've closed the gold deficit, and in terms of composition, right, we touched on this in Champion Select, don't really like how Peace's composition functions. And if you're Order's comp and you're within touching distance 25 minutes into the game, you've got to be happy. So Renekton, no ultimate in this fight, is just, you know, to be blunt, not a champion, right? Completely zoned out, no front line. Beats goes in, Shockwave whiffs, you start to think, okay, dangerous, but Puma flashes the Rakan engage too. Skarner ultimate keeps Violet in place, and he didn't use the Zillion ult on him.
They died before the Zillion ult. That's the hugest part of it all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even process that in the team fight. I thought it would have gone down on him. He uses it there, and what?
Forget the Shockwave. The redemption afterwards was so huge. You got, what, it was like 50% lights out gone. I mean, that was one of the points that we touched on, right? Sure, from Featherstorm to Reviver, you got all these insurance policies to ensure that Violet can be that hard carry, but as soon as he's gone, it's Puma showing up and showing what Vaynes can do late game.
Yeah, and a Halo flashing into the pit was maybe just a consolidation of, I'm sorry for not ulting you, Violet. But
it definitely was not going to steal that away with 2 bombs.
Nah, and so we need to take stock of the game, right? Like, QSS tax still not being paid by anyone on Peace, and I talked about drafting Skarner early means it loses a little bit of value in the sense that you can draft around it, but inevitably, even if you draft around it, you still have to pay the tax, right? Yeah. This is why Skarner is such an annoying champion, and they haven't done that, and they're paying for it in these team fights. Now, Puma might be caught, tumbles away.
Clean there by Puma, but then Appy from another angle. He has nowhere left to run, and it's Violet that picks up the shutdown. It looks so clean there for a second, Juice. It looked like Puma had just done enough, but too many angles to deal with.
I'll tell you what, Puma's been impressing me each week, getting better and better, and I think he's really turning into one of our star 80 carries in the league. Even with the rough laning phase, like we said, he's still able to perform, and I think that's the mark of a good AD. When you get put behind, what are you able to do? Are you able to come back into the game? Because it's not easy, and I feel like, you know, a couple times this split, he's been able to not only come from behind, but put in some carry performances from behind. Now, Peace are looking for the next team fight.
Certainly are looking for that next team fight, and just like that, 5k gold lead goes back to even. Shockwave! Beautiful Featherstorm there by Violet, but in the headbutt pulls, there's the revival! Okay, Violet gets to live a little bit longer right now. He has red buff as he comes up, full HP, and have Order run out of juice. It looks to be the case. Skarner falls on down. Everything invested to try and take away Violet, but Pixel perfect with the execution.
Yeah, and that's what the team fight looks like when you pair the Zillion with the Xayah. I mean, you know, big cooldowns being burnt there. Key members not being there, right? Puma wasn't there participating in that fight, so was a little bit of a 4v5, but good pick from Peace, and they've maintained their gold lead. And again, it only takes Peace to win one dragon fight to really take over this game, right? Ocean Soul probably the strongest dragon in the game. You could argue that depending on composition, maybe you'd like the Infernal Dragon. However, just going to come down to execution, right? Like, that's what it's looking like in this game, at least.
Feeling like this game is definitely on a knife's edge, right? Who can, first and foremost, get the best position to execute their combo off first? Who can be clever enough with, you know, vision denial to find those flanking angles and bait out the panic? Because we've seen definitely either way it can go, despite gold leads having been, what, 5-6K? Order still look incredibly competitive. So we'll get to see what it looks like here. That's going to be Beats getting knocked up first and foremost. He's popped the ult, popped the flash too, as he's forced to disengage away. And that could be huge here, Jubes, because that next dragon, that all-important soul point up in 20.
Here we go.
There's the flash. Okay, they don't want to wait around any much longer. And it's going to be Zillion that gets dragged into the fold of things.
Watch the shockwave.
Just buys enough time. The shockwave again! It doesn't hit anything! The revival is huge here from the Zillion. He's able to survive and not fall on down afterwards. A big headbutt knock up here from the Scion. They're going to take out Lee Sin. Now there is no smite. Can they turn things around? Violet trying to 1v4. Is he
Watch Violet.
He's acting like a tank. He has the Featherstorm. That's important to note because he can afford to play this aggressive, Jubes, and you just can't call this one anymore.
It's too close to call, and at the moment, Order are just out team fighting them, right? The Rakan engage was denied by the Condemned by the headbutt. Then they flash pull back. Halo has to use the ultimate on himself, and
they steal this one away. They can't. There's no smite. It does not matter. Beats comes in. Going to go for the pulverize. Violet doesn't connect with him. He's just going to fall on down as a result. Puma has to disengage away because Maximize is so low. Halo is running down the jungler. Now he's on a flank. Sidesteps the knock up and hits the exhaust straight away. Aladoric uses him as a delivery system. Jumps in, jumps out, survives, lives to tell the tale, and ensures that Appy can take down Order's star AD carry. The revival after it all is so clean, and Chungy wishes he didn't hit that one.
that's his flash burnt too. I mean, if I had to sum this game up, Skimmy, at the moment, it's just the micro max. Like, you know, is the Rakan engage landing? You know, is the team fight positioning there? You know, the Zillion ults, are they going down on the right target? Whilst it is a little bit with positioning, like, it's a lot of positioning actually, but in terms of just the button clicks, the micro, Puma tumbling out of the Rakan engages, using the Condemn to get out, you know, Beats on those Alistar flanks will break down this team fight here. So I thought Rakan maybe went in a little bit too early, and it looks like a team fight win for Order. However, you can't walk past those feathers. So the Desire ultimate just completely denies Chungy and Puma access to that fight, because if they walk forward, they're getting ripped back, rooted, and stuck in the river with a crocodile. And I don't know about you, Skimmy, but when you're in Australia, you do not want to be stuck in a river with a crocodile. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah,
can't tell you from experience because I wouldn't be here.
He's got the stories, but he doesn't have the experiences. Hey, the stories are fitting enough. They're scary enough more than anything right now. And I suppose if we just take a step back quickly, it feels like one of those situations where you know that there are tiebreakers on the line because both these teams so evenly matched. It feels like the gold lead, sure, still relevant, but nowhere near as big as it was before.
Gold lead at this point doesn't exist. It just comes down to team fight execution. Like, it's 1K, okay? And you probably won't even be able to take stock of where that 1K is. Like, if it's on the Rakan, does it really matter at this point? You know, it ultimately just comes down to execution. The Orianna shockwaves, are they hitting? Are they missing? Where's the Xayah? Where's the Zillion? Who's getting caught first? Because this might be it. This is huge.
Appy on the flank, and he's actually parving away from the rest of his team. Or to have inside track to the top side river to collapse on him if they need to. It's a 1v2, flashes back into the river, tries to deny vision. There's already a wall there, gonna fall on down. That's a 4v5. There is no soul point. There is no ocean soul to bank on for regen. Maybe the 4v5 is enough here for Order to try and go for that Baron play. But will Peace look to try and pull the trigger before that? Will they look to try and even the scales? They're gonna turn attention onto Order's top laner. But it is Scion. And he's just so good at soaking up all this damage of Peace bitten off more than they can chew. Have they baited themselves into a false hope? Violet's when he put his ultimate. He's gone! The revival from Zillion, it's not there. A second kill, a shockwave for a third. Puma finds two. Halo goes golden, but it's Order that are looking for gold.
Oh, we might just have Deft in Australia. Deft in OS. Might be Puma. Only player to lock in this vein and consistently have good games on it. Sometimes he doesn't, you know, sometimes it hasn't worked out for them, but this game in particular, I mean, yeah, 50 CS down, but doesn't matter when you got 10 kills, and it was Puma's pick and Puma's presence of mind that opened up this team fight win, right? He was the one that said, okay, I'm Vayne, I can lane into any bruiser, I'm going to go top, kill the Renekton, and we'll force a 4v5. Peace felt the pressure to you know, engage and have that fight, and we might see an end here.
Might indeed. He headbutts out Appy. They're going to look to try and end this game. Respawn time is still 10 seconds before this Zillion is here. The Nexus is exposed. Aladoric, can he be the hero right now? Tries to put everybody to sleep. A 4-man charm. The Nexus is low, down to 20%. They're just going to all in on it, and they are going to win it. And Juves, they're going to force a tiebreaker for seconds between Peace and Direwolves.
Things got interesting, didn't they? And not only did they get interesting in the sense that it's what an order now in the context. We said there's a clear 3, but playoffs are around the corner. Playoffs are basically here, and all of a sudden you've just thrown a spanner in the works and said, here's the statement for you. Order a team that now, in terms of ladders, just maybe we've got to start considering them like the third best team or in contention for that. Sure, you know, it's a results-based analysis, but that's the business we're in.
Yeah, and I suppose as we welcome back Mac into the discussion, you know, we had this idea of, you know, Pensnet untouched. Peace have only really dropped games to the likes of, you know, Direwolves and Pensnet. Now, Order sneak themselves in and say, we're guaranteed 4th. There's a rematch for 2nd. And this playoffs race, especially with best of 5s, becomes a whole lot more interesting.
100-0 in my predictions now, so just wanted to point that one out quickly. Now let's talk about this. So that looked like it was a Peace game up until about maybe, I don't know, like the 18, 20, well, I reckon even up until like the 22, 23 minute mark, you know, all the way towards the end. It seemed like Peace were kind of still in control. They would always, you know, hit the go button just when it was necessary. And then Order, you know, started to sort of go, oh no, we're losing a player here, losing a player there. But then it came down to the point where we just never saw Peace get that soul, or get the soul. And the issue with that is, you know, it's like, well, now they're on the back foot. Okay, Order kept stealing away the Dragons, kept making these team fights work. Everything just working out so wonderfully for them. And Order finally starting to find a bit of success just when they need it, heading into playoffs, upset over Peace. That was perfectly executed.
I think Juve said it so well when he was like, this composition from Peace feels a little bit Violet dependent. I mean, how many times did we see when his Featherstorm had been burnt, if there wasn't a revival, it just looked like a situation where Puma was able to 1v9 to whatever he could. Even if Chungy doesn't even hit the shockwave, the damage afterwards was so crazy. And it's just so crazy to me how Vengeance wasn't really a factor for the first 15 minutes, but is able to just be like, well, I can do more than you in the end.
That's the beauty of Skarner. Sometimes you can have an absolute shocker. I'm not saying he did, but you know, the champion is the luxury of having an average game into an amazing game, right? You Flashing Pale, sure, it's not the prettiest ability. It's not, hey, look at the mechanics on that guy, but you do it on the right target, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to win the team fight. So, I mean, Order, all credit to them. It's something about the organization. It's something about the staff maybe that they have on the back end, but when the playoffs word flies around, they just step up another level, and it's not even like one person in particular. It's every single playoffs. Order's been a force to be reckoned with. So whatever they're doing there, it's right. It's the right cup of tea. But
yeah, it's a good cup of tea to have. You know, it's the Order cup of tea.
Actually. That's why I said it.
You know, if you do want a cup of tea, you know, hit them with the hashtag Order Up, and I'm sure it'll come eventually at the tea place, or coffee shop is what we usually call them over here. Anyway, I like coffee. Probably need another one. A little bit of caffeine in the system. Nat, how you doing? You tired, or you just ready to get into another banger interview?
I'm ready to get into another interview. I thought you were gonna like do a tea, like segueing with Nat T, but you kind of, I don't know if you just missed it, but it was like right there for the taking.
Quick, go on the interview. Just call me out. Go. Get me out.
He's like, get me out.
Alrighty, well then I'll jump out
shockwaves.
and I'll bring in Puma for the post-game interview. Thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolute showing from you guys. A lot of back and forth. So how are you feeling after that win?
I feel good. I still think that we played pretty bad, especially in like the first 15 minutes maybe, but we knew we outscaled. And yeah, I think this game is pretty important for our playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me about the draft firstly, because I want to know, you know, how you guys were feeling coming out of it, because the laning phase really did not go in your favor.
Wait, can you repeat that, please?
Oh, just asking about the draft.
Okay. Peace draft on blue side is pretty. I think it's pretty easy to know what they would pick. So we drafted around that. And we knew Vayne to pick would be good against them if they picked like Kaisero, or in this case they pick Zyra Khan, but I think it was still a good pick. So we're pretty much going into draft banking on the fact that Vayne would be good. So that's pretty much how we went around it.
I mean, that Vayne pick definitely played off for you guys. Now, until the Baron fights and the Dragon fights, how are you guys feeling? Because it looked as if there wasn't a lot of opportunity for you guys to come back in. So tell me about the team communications to execute the game plans to win those team fights.
I think it starts when we are behind. I think we shouldn't lose confidence that we can win team fights. So I think as long as we are all clear in our minds, we know what to do. And we know that eventually the enemy will mess up. So that's what we played around.
It seemed to have played off and fallen exactly how you guys are expecting. The last question I want to ask is, how are you feeling coming into best of fives when we go to playoffs?
This year will be my first best of five experience. Last year I didn't do very well. So I'm pretty nervous coming into next week. However, I still think we're a good team and we can beat anyone on any day. I think the best of five might be a lot to play and play well at, because I haven't experienced it yet, but I think it'd be good fun.
Well, I'll let you go and get your rest over the weekend in preparation for the best of five, but congratulations again on the win, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
There you go. Not only will it be his first experience of hitting up those BO5s, but it'll be mine as well. I'm excited to see, what the difference is heading in towards playoffs.
I kind of forget.
Sorry, Nat.
Sorry. I was going to say, I kind of forget that, there are a lot of, there's a lot of new players, but I kind of forget that they haven't all done best of fives before. So when I ask that question, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Not everyone's always made it to that, stage in a tournament or a competition. So I guess just as much as we haven't experienced it, they haven't either.
It's a whole damn time, isn't it? But look, we've got one more game remaining today, and it's Legacy and Mammoth. Got another break before the final match, so, go stay hydrated, go get that water and get that bread. We'll be back in a moment with the final match of the day.
He's just going to fall on down as a result. Puma has to disengage away because Maximize is so low. Halo is running down the jungler. Now he's on a flank. Sidesteps the knock up and hits the exhaust straight away. Aladoric uses him as a delivery system. Jumps in, jumps out, survives, lives to tell the tale, and ensures that Appy can take down Order's star AD carry. The revival after it all is so clean, and Chungy wishes he didn't hit that one. But Nathan True, have they baited themselves into a false hope?